Did you miss last week's inbound marketing conference? Never fear, we got your back. Today's guest will come on to share themes, hot topics, and her favorite sessions. I also wanted to let you know that my book, Content Marketing Engineered, is now available in audiobook format. So go on to Amazon, check it out. And there's also a Kindle and softback version as well. All right, let's do this.
Welcome to Content Marketing Engineered, your source for building trust and generating demand with technical content. Here is your host, Wendy Covey.
Hi, and welcome to Content Marketing Engineered. On each episode, I'll break down an industry trend, challenge, or best practice in reaching technical audiences. You'll meet colleagues, friends, and clients of mine who will stop by to share their stories. And I hope that you leave each episode feeling inspired and ready to take action. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a brief shout out to my agency, TREW Marketing. TREW is a full service agency located in beautiful Austin, Texas, serving highly technical companies. For more information, visit trewmarketing.com. And now on with our podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content Marketing Engineered. Today, I'm joined by Julia Fellows. She's an account manager at TREW Marketing, and this will be her second or maybe third time to come onto the show.
I think it's the third time.
Yeah. Welcome back,
thanks
Julia.
Thanks for having me back. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I know I thought back to when you were on the show last, and was it our March LinkedIn Madness mini-series by chance?
It was. And spoiler alert, I've got some LinkedIn content for you today as well.
Of course you do. Well, those of you listening or watching missed that mini series, I'll put a link to it in the show notes because it was a great series. That was one of my favorite episodes or string of episodes in the whole year, I think. But that's not, well, I guess that's part of what we're about today, but our overarching purpose of today's episode is to recap HubSpot's 2021 inbound conference. And you know, Julia, I've attended this event for 10 years. And when I first went, there were maybe 1,000 people. And then at its crest, 20,000, I want to say. And then, you know, things went virtual and well, what was it like being virtual at Inbound?
Yeah, well, so I have to admit, this is only my second year attending Inbound. And so I don't have a frame of reference. I have exclusively experienced Inbound as a virtual conference platform.
Oh, how interesting.
And And I will definitely say that the user experience was improved from last year. So that was pretty awesome. But for the folks who don't know, Inbound is a marketing conference that's hosted by HubSpot every year that centralizes around the inbound marketing methodology, which is a methodology that we follow at TREW Marketing as well. And I think that in general, they do a really great job of balancing it between, you know, HubSpot product news and releases and just kind of things that are relevant, things that are important within the marketing industry and trends. And it's, you know, it's a really great way to catch up and learn more about what's going on in your industry. And as the filmmaker Spike Lee said during his spotlight presentation, you stop learning when you take your last breath. So, you know, you got to keep learning.
Absolutely. And the way marketing keeps moving so quickly, really, we all need to learn regardless of how many years we've been doing this. So it's a good reminder, Spike Lee. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And was it Oprah speaking too?
Yeah. And I have to admit, I have to go back and watch her session because it was during dinner for me, but it was, I was really excited. So I'm definitely going to be going back later this week to watch that one.
Yeah. So really interesting that here's this educational marketing conference, but they bring just a variety of speakers and have some leadership inspirational topics as well as practical stuff for we marketers and those people. Yeah.
You know, they have some fun sessions too. Like I didn't get to attend, but they had the Boston City Ballet did like a stretching exercise break.
No way. Oh, I want to do a stretching exercise. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
My stand-up desk hasn't stood up yet today, so that's a good reminder.
Yeah, well, I'm here on my exercise ball, so.
Good. Well, Julia, I'm dying to hear, what was your very favorite session of the week?
All right, so I think my favorite session was Email Myths Busted, What's Really Working Now with Jay Schwedelson. He is the founder and CEO of subjectline.com and World Data. Obviously, that email is a super hyper relevant topic. You know, in the pandemic, email has gotten a lot more difficult for marketers, and for individuals, it's a lot harder to consume email. So, you know, we've noticed at TREW, even some of our clients who have traditionally done really well with email are having lower open rates and lower click-through rates. So I really wanted to learn about, you know, why we're not performing, and maybe if there were some myths that I was believing and practicing.
Yeah, it's getting
no longer
noisy out
true.
there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course, Jay was a super engaging presenter too. He was very animated and conversational, and I even got like an HBO show recommendation from his presentation. And but man, that guy must be tired at the end of every day, because he had a lot of information to share and just exuded some really great energy.
Okay, well, don't leave me hanging. What were some of the big takeaways from it?
All right. Well, you know, we're still going through a pandemic, and it really has changed the way that we email. It is, you know, email has really become the Wild West. Anything goes, whatever you can do to get your email opened. And with regard to getting your email opened, it's your from, you know, so who that from address is, or I think it's a friendly from alias or whatever, and your subject line. Those are the two things that are going to get opened. So obviously, click through is a whole nother story, but and in his presentation, he was showing that there was a 40% increase, or nearly 40% increase, if you changed that friendly from address to, instead of something like TREW Marketing, to a person. So Julia at TREW Marketing, or Wendy at TREW Marketing, or Lee at TREW Marketing. You know, that was much more likely in a B2B context to get opened. So
that's a great find, and something that's easy to implement.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, a lot of the myths that he kind of talked about during his presentation were things that, you know, traditionally we've been told, no, don't do that. Like, don't use parentheses, don't use brackets, don't use asterisks, don't use emojis, don't make mistakes, you know. But these are the kinds of things that make your email stand out against everybody else's. You got to do whatever you can to stand out against the email above yours and the email below yours.
Okay, so Halloween's almost here, so it's okay to put spooky ghosts until everybody else is doing it, and then stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, did you say mistakes? Could you clarify what you mean by that? Do we purposely misspell something just to get attention, or what?
So a good example would be, you know, in a consumer context, if a company were to send out an email that said, "Oops, you almost missed this deal," you know, kind of a mistake, but not really a mistake.
I got you. Okay.
So,
well, I do admit, when somebody sends a second e-newsletter with a correction, it makes me intrigued of what changed. How did they screw up?
What did you mess up?
I almost always open those, even if I don't care about the subject matter.
Oh, it's like a car accident. People like to see other people's mistakes.
Yeah, there you go. What does that say about us? I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh.
What were some of the other hot topics that you came across?
Well, account-based marketing was another big one this year. I saw a little bit last year, but I've seen even more this year. I think I probably attended 4 or 5 different ABM sessions, which was really good. And account-based marketing, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of a more personalized marketing experience. And I tried to find it earlier, but I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day that was talking about how, in a business to consumer environment, you're marketing to a person. But in a B2B environment, you're still marketing to a person. You're just marketing to a person who represents a company. So that person still wants that personalized experience too. There was a great Ask Me Anything session with Justin Keller from Terminus. He gave some cool case studies on how they've implemented ABM. And the key trend I was noticing throughout all the ABM sessions is the importance of alignment, especially between sales and marketing, but really within the whole company. And account-based marketing is, there was even a debate session where two people were debating about account-based marketing versus inbound marketing. And to me, there was no obvious winner, because inbound marketing can support account-based marketing.
Yeah,
so
they're not mutually exclusive ever. They shouldn't be.
Exactly. So because the goal is really just to start a relationship with someone. And this is where you can handpick different pieces of your content to send to a specific contact within your target companies, your target accounts. And then HubSpot also has tools within, I believe it's within their Sales Hub, that can help you with account-based marketing and show you, what your targets are, and you can pick out people within that account and assign buyer roles, and it's definitely a good way to track those target accounts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really excited when HubSpot added account scoring. So not just a score for an individual, but a score for the account. And that adds a lot richer data to a company that's practicing ABM. So
yeah, definitely.
Cool. What else?
Yeah. All right. Well, LinkedIn is still relevant. There were quite a few sessions last year that I attended about LinkedIn, obviously kind of in anticipation of our LinkedIn March Madness, or LinkedIn March Marketing Madness. And there were a couple of cool presenters that were at Inbound last year that came and did a debate this year, which was really cool. Ooh. It was a debate on LinkedIn ads versus organic content. And, I think organic content still wins, but there are definitely some strategies that can be implemented with both. And for example, you can take an organic piece of content that has performed really well and turn it into an ad, and that'll typically perform better than something that hasn't performed well organically.
Yeah, is that because you get it in front of a larger audience by going outside?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And then there was another great session where the folks at LinkedIn came in and really kind of gave you a step-by-step on strategy and different tips for running your LinkedIn ad campaigns. So if you've never run ads before, that was a super great session to just give you the basics, and they're really informative. We got a little more context about, why they set it up the way that they did. So I thought that was super helpful.
In that session, did they give any peek into where the platform's going in 2022 by chance?
Not really, but that's okay.
I think oriented. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. One thing we've learned is, in general, is that LinkedIn tends to copy some of the other social networks, but they're a little bit behind. They tested out that stories type feature, and they're doing a little bit more with videos. So I'm really interested to see where they go next.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you find?
Another big one was customer education, and which really is a pillar of the inbound methodology to begin with. That was the first session that I attended, and they discussed creating learning platforms for your prospects and your buyers and your audience. And TREW is already doing this with our content writing engineered course, which Wendy will probably link to in the blog post. And really one of the reasons that you would want to do something like this is that it empowers your customers. And empowered customers are going to buy more. They're going to, and really they're going to be those nice customers that you don't have to work real hard when you're working with them, because you can teach them how to use your products and your services and how to optimize things. So I think we're seeing a lot more of that. They used HubSpot Academy as a great example of that. So I'd like to see more organizations doing that.
Good. Yeah. Once upon a time, I was responsible for customer education at National Instruments. So that's near and dear to my heart. And, the idea that, your prospect moves into becoming a customer and you want to make sure they're successful. And I love that there's integration here with pulling marketing into that conversation post-purchase of how we communicate with them. Because if you think about email workflows, just getting real practical for a minute, think about how great that is. Someone just purchases a software product, and now you have this whole customer success email workflow for that product, encouraging them to go look at the community forums or on-demand training or whatever it is. So it just makes sense. And I guess a question for you on HubSpot CRM, is all of that information then stored back on that contact's record when they participate in training? Is it an integrated?
I guess that would depend on, what kind of platform you use for your customer education
itself. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I bet there's some APIs in the HubSpot community that connect to make it all beautiful.
Oh, I would believe it. Believe it.
Yeah. Well, any other topics that come to mind, or is that those?
Yeah, I've got one more for you.
Okay.
We're definitely seeing a rise in RevOps, or revenue operations. I attended only one session, but there were at least 3 or 4 different sessions. It's not a new concept or a new way of doing business, but it's new to HubSpot. One of the sessions, they were talking about how they had just established a RevOps team within HubSpot earlier this year. And it's, as we're getting more and more entangled with technology and just the world is becoming more complicated, the buyer's journey has become more complex. And it's more disparate, and RevOps aims to streamline that. So, in one of the sessions, which I don't even think was a RevOps session, but someone gave an example of buying a Volvo and how he had I think it was Darmesh. I think it was Darmesh Shah. He gave an experience of how he had bought a Volvo, and it was a great streamlined experience buying it online. He didn't have to interact with another person at all. And then after he gets his car,
loves. That's so funny.
I know, right? It's great for introverts. And he gets a letter in the mail, says, okay, it's time for you to pay for your new car. And it's a completely different system and platform from the one that he used to buy it. And then if he wants his account number, he has to go somewhere completely different to get that. And it's in a letter that they mailed him, which we all know that in the US, they're having mail issues right now. So, RevOps organizations can help to streamline that experience. Of course, it's about the processes and the people and the technology and the data that goes into what that customer experience looks like. As marketers, maybe we're not involved in the entire process, but it does make us think a lot more about how we can streamline that handoff from marketing to sales and then beyond.
Okay, good. Very interesting. Questions as well.
Yeah. And the HubSpot actually has some, they came out with a new operations hub earlier this year, which I think, or maybe it was beta earlier this year, I'm not sure. But that is another tool that you can use with your RevOps. So I am excited to see more of that.
Well, speaking of new HubSpot tools, I assume there were some product announcements that happened during Inbound?
There were a few. Mostly there was more information about the Ops Hub, and then some more customized and more expanded CRM capabilities, which I think a lot of people have been looking for. So
Good. Well, I know we have a blog post coming soon that will go into those product announcements in details. So those of you listening or watching, definitely, if you're not a subscriber of the TREW Marketing blog, go subscribe and it'll hit your inbox when we post that blog post with detailed product announcements. So So
awesome.
Joya, so if we look ahead to next year, what are you hoping to see? What do you wish was in this year's Inbound, or just, thinking ahead to next year?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for me personally, the biggest thing I'm hoping for is that we have it in person again. I feel like I've missed out on the experience a little bit the last 2 years.
It's a fun conference.
Yeah, and I think that in person will encourage networking a little bit better. They had some great breakout sessions and chats you could sign up for. But when you're not physically somewhere, it's easy to get distracted by other things, and it's easy to say, I'll have a discussion with someone another time. So I'm hoping that it'll be in person again.
I'll have dinner instead of watch Oprah. Exactly. I can watch it later. It's recorded. You wouldn't have done that in person if she was in person.
Exactly. I would have skipped dinner to watch Oprah in person.
Oh, very well. That's fair enough. I can't wait to go together next year. Let's make a day.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your Inbound 2021 experience with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, Wendy.
Thanks for joining me today on Content Marketing Engineered. For show notes, including links to resources, visit trewmarketing.com/podcast. While there, you can subscribe to our blog and RA newsletter and order a copy of my book, Content Marketing Engineered. Also, I would love your reviews on this podcast. So please, when you get a chance, subscribe and leave me your review on your favorite podcast subscription platform. Thanks and have a great day.